On to Topic Tuesdays. I'm your hosting, Oliver. No. So I've decided that every Tuesday at 7 p.m. I'll try and do a topic to talk about, and anyone can join in on the conversation. So, welcome everyone. I was just saying that this is now going to try to be a common thing every Tuesday. I'll try and do a 7 p.m. little topic that people can join in, and if they want to join in on the conversation and say the little piece in the comments, feel free. If they want to join in the conversation, I can send them an invite to be part of it. Someone's already actually sent a request to be in the video. I can see that, but not right now. I haven't even started the topic yet. Hey Benny, what's up? How you going? Hey Maddie, how you going? How funny. Anywho. So this is all new to me. I'm all freaking out. I'm a bit nervous actually because I haven't done a live in a long time. I used to do lives all the time. And yeah, so I thought first topic for the night, or first topic, I was thinking of actually doing 3 topics today, but I was thinking the first one, becoming aware of thoughts. How do you, or have you ever practiced becoming aware of your thoughts? I've started focusing a lot on the idea and the concept, like a lot of people talk about, Batman having this, he can't be influenced excessively by mental illness or mental delusions in a sense. And if you've ever watched any movies or played any video games, he's attacked mentally by, the Scarecrow concept, or by the Joker. And he's always challenged mentally about things, and he's always had to overcome adversities in the sense of different perceptions and how these mentally ill people try to convince him otherwise. That, what he's doing is wrong and that he should be on their side, creating more chaos rather than order. So, and then you have the concept of Superman, who is never apparently affected by any form of evil, and he tries not to kill anyone, and he's always trying to save the human race, even though it's proven over and over time again when he is saving the planet that it's the humans inflicting more pain and destruction on the humans, sort of thing. So he still thinks human life is valuable, and he saves them each time. So I've always had this concept of like, what have they overcome in a sense, or what conversations do they have in their head all the time to really overcome these thoughts of hatred, resentment, grudges, all those kind of things that really stop them from crossing the line and actually becoming very violent or very destructive or very chaotic, just as their enemies are, sort of thing. So and it all comes to our thoughts. Like every action comes to every one of our actions and behavior is obviously started off with a thought. And I've just recently read 3 books that I recommend that you read if you can. Number 1 is How to Do the Work by Dr. Nicole LaPera. Number 2 is An End to Upside Down Thinking by Mark Gober. And the third one is Cleaning Up Your Mental Mess by Dr. Caroline Leaf. And these 3 books really do, in a sense, put things into perspective of making choices, of where our thought patterns are trending off, in a sense, or going towards, and what we can do, in a sense, to capture the thought. And the Bible says this all the time, well, not all the time, but there's a part in the Bible where it says, capture your thoughts, constrain your imagination. Don't let your imagination run wild, because it will either bring you anxiety, it will bring you, in a sense, grief. It'll keep you stuck in a mental state where you can't progress forward. You're always stuck in the past, which leads to depression, and especially connected to nostalgia. And Dr. Brene Brown always talks about that a little bit in her books as well. Oh, good. You Maddie, you've seen Dr. Caroline. Very good. It was really funny actually because I bought this book, Cleaning Up Your Mental Mess, 2 years ago on Audible. And I've always looked at it and gone, nah, like the cover of the book isn't really grasping my attention to tell me to read it now, if that makes sense. And so I left it. And then I actually, once I did start reading the book, I'm there going, oh, hang on, I actually followed this doctor on Instagram and I've liked some of her stuff and obviously, sent stuff of hers to myself, as I do with every other account. And then I'm there going, listening to it, I'm there going, why didn't I read this earlier? I felt so dumb not reading it earlier. But then I'm there going, no, it was, in a sense, I call it God's will, because it was perfectly placed after the previous book that I read, which I think was Start With Why, and then before that one was the End to Upside Down Thinking. So it all kind of like placed itself perfectly. And I think the previous books before listening to that one prepared me for her wisdom in a sense. So I actually, hence why was surprised that I had already been following her and how annoyed of myself that I hadn't actually listened to the book earlier. So along the concept of trying to capture my thoughts, and as I was saying, the Bible says that, constrain your imagination. Don't let your imagination run wild, because, even if you have a tangent of like someone's done something wrong by you, you hold a bit of resentment. And eventually, if you hold enough anger and enough grudge and you keep dwelling on it, your resentment grows and you eventually just despise that person. You struggle to forgive. And even Dr. Caroline Leaf in the book shows, in a sense, her research that holding grudges and not forgiving actually is toxic for our physical bodies. That much negative thoughts and stress, cortisol release every time you think of a person that brings on negative emotions actually breaks your body down. It's actually quite bad for you. And so I've always had this concept of like, I need to master my thoughts. I really want to. And it's something that I've always, in a sense, had I guess, goal towards when I was as a child. Like, so many people would fall for the bad guys. In a sense, they love the twisted mind. They love the twisted, psychotic mind. And it's just like, why? Oh, they're misunderstood, they're mistreated, etc. And they're going, but they're literally thinking of chaotic thoughts where it's extremely destructive and dangerous or fatal. Like, they're willing to take other people's lives for their own goals and ambitions, their own agenda, in a sense. And I think that that's interesting, that people are attracted to these bad guys or these villains that have this chaotic, psychotic mentality to destroy human life. And not look at it and not realize that every single grudge that they hold, every single negative thought or resentment that they hold, and every swear word that comes out of their mouth towards someone, every time they belittle someone or shame someone, it's actually on that direction and that path of in a sense, confirming evil. That's condoning evil to a degree, because you're not keeping your mind in check. You're not keeping your thoughts in check. You're not focusing your thoughts to building, to growing. Instead, you're willing to destroy and destruct things for your sake of being judge, placing yourself as judge of bad people or bad humanity, when we all have, in a sense, negative thoughts, bad thoughts, violent thoughts, etc., whether that be mentally or physical or emotionally violent. Anyway, so along that line, I've really wanted to master my thoughts, master the concept of negative thoughts. And one thing, and in this book, this Cleaning Up Your Mental Mess, she said, focus on one thing, and it takes 63 days to actually form a habit and to change the way you think, change the way you think. You have to bring constant awareness to it for these 63 days. Write down what thought you're having, what is driving that thought, and as you're going through these 63 days, it will bring unconscious or your non-conscious will bring it to your subconscious, which then will leak it into your consciousness. It will bring into your consciousness what your non-conscious is trying to tell you to learn and to teach from it, and to learn from it in a sense, not teach from it. Your non-conscious is trying to teach you. So the one thing that I'm trying to work on in this thought capturing concept is not really knowing my direction in life. I don't really have, in a sense, a clear direction of, what I really want as a job, even though I do have a job right now. Not really knowing what goals I'd like to attain or achieve, where I really want to, in a sense, live, if I really want to chase after purchasing a house or buying a bigger car that I can live in. I'm not having a clear, in a sense, direction. Like, I don't know if I really want to live here my whole life or if I want to go somewhere else. Like, I've always had this idea I want to live a year in each like city or state that I really want to go see. Like, for example, I really want to live in Florida, in Miami, for a year, but it might have to be 15 years now because I really want a pet raccoon and they're just adorable. So it's worth living there for 15 years because I'm assuming that's how long they live for. It might be less or more. But the one concept that I really struggle with, because I really want to, don't have a clear direction, is I have this, I guess, curse you could say, where I want to learn everything because I find almost everything interesting. Like, I have this intense curiosity to learn so much in the world. I love learning pointless, in a sense, facts. Like, for example, what vitamins and minerals, in a sense, do, like their qualities or their traits, and what their strengths are, in a sense, what they are meant for our bodies, in a sense. And just finding the nitty-gritty, and even finding, like, what's the component molecular structure of it, how many carbons are in it, how many oxygens are in it, etc., etc. That's the level of pointless facts that I really like to dive into. But unfortunately, with wanting to know and learn so much about everything to a degree, it actually does bring me anxiety, so I freeze, I become paralyzed, and that's something, in a sense, that I struggle with. And then I have no idea, and then I get stressed out because I'm not doing really what I wanted to do. I don't even know if really what I wanted to do, what I really wanted to do. And then I just get confuffled, and as you can see, I get confuffled just thinking about it. And I actually wrote down here, because I've got my notes here, the one thing, like the concept of the one thing, and I read a book about it. I read a book called The One Thing by, I want to say, Gary Kellner, but I could have said that wrong. They're going, the one thing probably would never exist in my life because I bounce between things so many times. People are like, oh, just follow one thing, just do that one thing, become a master at it. And they're going, yeah, but then I get stressed and exhausted after doing it for a while and going, I'm not doing what I really want to do over there. So then my mind just constantly, it's a battle against each other sort of thing. Anyway, so that's one thing, is that one topic, in a sense, is thought awareness, I call it. In a sense, mastering your thoughts, mastering each thought. And how I do it is, I have it, and how, I guess, Dr. Caroline Leaf explains it, as well as Dr. Nicole LaPera, is you have a thought, and it might be, this concept of, I'm not liked that much. And then she's like, okay, write that down. And then you try and find, and in a sense, you gather the information in a sense that states why you're not liked that much. Like, what is the evidence? And write down the evidence, like, oh, well, this person is ignoring me or doesn't like me. My grade 3 teacher said that I was pathetic, blah, blah, blah. And you're putting all these things in a sense in a basket, so to speak, and you try and objectively see them as they are. You don't try and put judgment on them. And then go, okay, well, is this person who said this, are they, in a sense, what Dr. Brene Brown says is, are they on my list of 5 friends or family that are important to me. And if they're not on that list that hits, that they're important or that they have value into your life, then you can disregard their opinion of you. And you will find that even if you find a list of all the people that are in your life that love you and care for you, that you are liked. It's just that we always focus on people that we desire or want in our lives, and they're the ones that give us negative things. So we feel like, oh, we're not liked because the people that we are wanting their approval or attention isn't giving it to us. So then we have this brain malfunction thinking that we're not liked when we've got the people over here that, talk to us every day, or that we talk to every day, or that ones that we are at work or hang out with, they do like us. So it's bringing that thought into captivity of the we're not liked and going, okay, is it really true? And how can I rewrite this thought to say, I'm liked and acknowledged and valued and worthy, in a sense. And it's just writing it down, challenging where that thought is coming from. What was the past, in a sense, little traumas or big traumas that activated that thought, that sort of reinitiated or initiated or brought on that thought, and then going, now that I look back at it, for example, when you're a kid, you got just rejected by someone. You go, hi Leanne, how you going? You get rejected by someone, you're a kid, and then now you can look back at it 20 years later and go, okay, what was I really rejected for? And from their point of view, they probably were just a kid, that other kid that rejected you, who didn't like the way that you were, and that's fine, that's okay. But as an adult, your worth isn't based in that kid's opinion. You can now look at it from mature eyes, in a sense, and then really, in a sense, question that thought into its existence, and then removing that thought, going, no, it's not valid anymore because there's not enough evidence to back it up that it's true. And then relearning that a new thought to replace that thought, saying, I am loved, I am cared for, I am valued, I am worthy. And these are the points of evidence that backs that up. And no longer holding on to this, I'm not cared for or loved. That's just an idea or a concept of how to do it, or what I do, in a sense. Sometimes there's some thoughts or some beliefs, limiting beliefs, that pop up, and I realize, hang on, that's a limiting belief, and it will take months or years for me to really push through and go, I can see it reoccurring, I can see it popping up, I can see my trigger points of where it's being, in a sense, activated, and realizing it's not serving me. Let's address it, let's acknowledge it for what it is and why it's here, and let's see how we can work with it to realize that it's not benefiting me and it's not building me up. How can I find ways for it to build me up rather than tear me down all the time, especially when someone behaves in a certain way that it triggers that thought, if that makes sense. I'm good, Leanne, how are you? So that's just one thought. I've also forgot to mention that the reason why I wanted to do these videos is because I really have a lot, in a sense, that I feel like I can give, but I'm not an expert in these things, in a sense, to charge anyone, in a sense, as in price-wise. I don't feel the need that I can charge anyone, because I'm not an expert in, obviously, psychology. I am a life coach by qualification, but again, not even confident in myself. There you go, limiting belief, to put myself out there and go, hey, this is my expertise, this is my strengths, this is my ability that I can help you out. So I thought I'll do these videos just to give you tips and tools that I feel will help people when they apply it to their lives. So my in a sense history, or who I am, I people please. Come from a background that I learnt to people please at a very young age, and still trying to figure out how to stop people pleasing and set those boundaries for myself to remove myself from holding resentment towards people, especially when I give so much and then I expect so much, the exact same amount in return, but don't get it, and I hold that resentment, and that's on me. So I've learned to really restrain, in a sense, my people pleasing. I overthink things. I scrutinize every detail in any setting or environment. I take things personally sometimes. I jump to conclusions. I make assumptions. I'm an empath, which means I take on a lot of people's emotions and claim them as my own subconsciously. I don't do this consciously. And then realize later going, wait, why am I holding this emotion or this feeling or this belief when it's not even mine? Like, I don't know where it came from. And then I have to sort of backtrack myself and go, who did I hang out with recently? And then realize, okay, that's the person, that's the trait or the personality or the belief that I've taken on because I've been hanging out with this person too much, or I was too influenced by them in a sense. And I can take on the people's emotions. And my body says, hey, this is our emotion, this is our story, but really, no, it's not at all. And I have the highly sensitive person trait, meaning that my body physically experiences things more intensely than others, so to speak, and everyone's different. Like, every person with this trait has something different. My main one is that I get overstimulated quite intensely by certain sounds, certain visuals, certain emotions, and it puts me in a fight or flight response in my body, so I seize up in a sense, and I have to learn to regulate that effectively, especially in certain areas. So and the last thing obviously is that I am human. So from my experiences with all these things and learning how to do with them, I wanted to share what I've learned and what's worked in a sense for me, so that you guys might benefit from these as well. Anyway, so that's topic 1, is becoming aware of thoughts, thought awareness. I thought of doing 2 others, but this has actually gone on longer than expected, so I might do them the next 2 later this week maybe. I'm thinking of doing actually more than just Tuesdays, but even though it says topic Tuesday right there. But I'll take on those 2 either later this week or next week. So thank you everyone who has joined me, and again, feel free to put in the comments next time. Or if you want to join into the conversation, just click on that video button that should say join in, and you can join in, or we can do it on a Zoom call. I just put it on here because nobody wanted to join into the Zoom call, or nobody sent any messages, so I was just going, okay, well, I'm not going to obviously do it on Zoom and just talk to myself. Might as well go live and talk to everyone. That way they can come in and out of the video, and if they're interested, they can stay. If not, they can leave, and it's all up to them. So anyway, hope you have a wonderful night, and I shall see you all later.